Okay, good evening. Time is 6:01. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees of United ISD, the Instructional Committee meeting. The time is, it's 6:01 again. Today's Tuesday, May 7th. We are present at 201 Lindenwood, Laredo, Texas. Action items to be reviewed by the regular board meeting on May 15th, with recommendations to be made by the Instructional Committee. Number one, approval of application for low attendance day waiver for all campuses for Friday, May the 3rd, 2019. The district delayed the start of the school day due to inclement weather, electrical outages, and flooding on the roads.
Mr. Montemayor and Mr. Gilpin, we are requesting a waiver. We're still cleaning up some of the figures and the numbers. For all campuses for Friday, May 3rd, the attendance, I left a little handout by your computer station, 84.67 was our attendance rate that particular day. In comparison to the average for the, and I'm sorry, didn't come out with the average, but it was a 95.9% average for the previous year. So we are requesting a waiver. We'll submit to the state, and hopefully it'll get approved for that low attendance day.
Thank you. Any questions? B, items to be reviewed for information only, grades 5 and 8, first administration star results.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Montemayor, Mr. Gilpin, Santos, members of the audience. Just to recap, again, these are preliminary scores for 5th and 8th grade first administration for STAR. And before I go into that, just to give you a little outline here on the different levels of passing. Starting at the bottom, the not-meet level, grade level. These are students that are not successful in the test. The next level is called approaches, and I'm going backwards. The approaches grade level. These are students pretty much, they pass a test, they are likely to succeed in the next grade or course with targeted academic intervention. These are the approaches level. As students score a little higher on their tests, we can meet the meets, and then finally the masters. And we're always shooting for the students not only to pass their tests, but now with STAR, we're trying to get them at the highest level, which would be masters. So as I go over the scores, in the first slide, the second slide here, it's only 5th grade, a comparison with the region and the state, how we fared off. So we look at reading. We look at the state level at reading, which is the passing, the approaches level. The state right now is at 77%, the region at 79%, and UISD is at 80%. You got the different levels there of passing meets and masters. And then we go with mathematics. Obviously, we do very well in mathematics, and I'll show the scores per school in a few minutes. And 91%, which is passing. We also have the meets, we have the masters. Ahead of the state, ahead of the region. Our next slide, we have all our campuses listed. We do have some pockets that we continue to work on in the reading area. Ms. Rodriguez and her staff, we're meeting with the different principals as far as intervention. These will be testing again, and they have a chance. Students who did not pass it the first time, and by state law, they need to pass the reading and the mathematics in 5th and 8th so they can be promoted. So we continue to work on that, but overall, our schools are doing very well. We look at our middle school scores compared to the state in reading, 8th grade at 80%, which is passing, the region at 75%, the state, again, at an approaches level at 77%. We go to mathematics, just like elementary, they're a lot higher at 89%, way above the state at 81%, and the region at 82%. Now, if you notice that in the masters in STAR Math, it's very low, 10%, and the reason for that is mainly because we're not counting the algebra students who are not included in a lot of the districts in the state. They don't offer the algebra in 8th grade. So just once we add the algebra scores, then this will obviously be going up. Individual middle schools are listed. And again, phenomenal work in mathematics. We have some pockets in reading. We'll continue to work with our campuses to meet the needs of our students. UISD summary of 5th and 8th combination. Overall in reading, as a district with these two grades, older reporting at the approaches at 80%, which is 79.9. It is part of student achievement. Mathematics, 90% already. When we look at the meets and masters, the raw score at 57.5, The scale score was 88%, that will be equivalent to a B. When we look at student progress, we're already at an A. So we're sitting very well. We're going to continue to work with our campuses so we can meet the needs of the students.
It's good, man. Look at what Socorro's doing.
Yes, sir.
Way
Way ahead. Way ahead.
I got it, man. You know, anyway, see how how their scores are going. Okay, we're going to B2. We'll go ahead and table that item for the June meeting. B3, district-wide magnet enrollment report for 2019-2020.
Good evening, Mr. Gilpin, Mr. Montemayor, Mr. Santos, and members of the audience. Just to give you an overview of what has taken place since January when we came back from the winter break, in terms of the magnet program, we had approximately 1,081 students apply for the magnet program. 996 of those students tested. 928 were from within our district, and 68 were from private entities. You'll notice there's decreases in terms of for the past 2 years, and that is due to our early college programs that are in place in our district. The next slide. We have the number of students that got accepted into the program. We had 442. 399 were from the district. 43 were from private entities like United Day, Mary Help, St. Augustine. 150 were accepted into Alexander, 148 to United, and 144 to United South as of March 29th, which is the 2 days we have for phone calls. On the next slide, we pretty much discuss how we accept the students into the program, and they must have an overall average of a B in these content areas. And we look at their 7th grade report card, and we also look at their fall semester 8th grade report card, specifically in those areas. So a total of 679 students of the 996 that tested had an above average score on their COGAT of 50. The COGAT pretty much measures the development of reasoning abilities that are essential for success in school. We have the verbal reasoning, the quantitative, which is the mathematical, and the nonverbal, which is figures. And essentially, that is one of the assessments that we give the students because we only could take 150 per program. The next slide pretty much shows you that we look at 60% of their, as being part of their overall is the grades that they got in 7th and 8th grade, and the 40% is coming from the COGAT assessment that they took in February. The next slide pretty much shows you an example of how we determine the overall and how we rank the students so that when we make those phone calls, we give them the choice of what program they would like to attend. So let's say, for example, John Doe's grade point average of 100 based on his 7th and 8th grade report card. We take 60% of that, which is 60 points. And then let's say John Doe gets a 99, which is the highest you can get on the COGAT. And we take 40% of that, so that's 39.6 points. We add that to the 60 points, and we get a 99.6. The 99.6 is what we use to rank the students from 1 to 996. We ended up making about 540 phone calls until we got all the programs at the 150 that we need. So the next slide pretty much summarizes that it's very competitive. The candidates all exemplify above average academic achievement, which is the report card grades, and the above average aptitude from the COGAT. And pretty much the evidence supports the fact that they're committed to the field of study, whether it be health at Alexander, engineering at United, or business at United South, in reference to the students selecting a program. But I do want to point out that the early college is also affecting the number of students that are committing to the magnet program because they also get the news in February. So we give them the news in the end of March. Early college is in February, so there's a lot of changing of minds in reference to what program they would like to participate in. So the next slide essentially shows you that we send out about 462 letters because we only made about 540 phone calls. 92 of them declined. The phone calls were done during March 28th and 29th, and then the following week, we pretty much send the letters, the 462 letters, letting them know that they didn't get the phone call. So the deadline to accept The program is May the 3rd, and then on May the 16th is when each magnet program has their parent meetings to let them know what is expected of the students. So that's, any questions on the magnet program?
We're all able to work out the GPA stuff, the weighting of all those classes?
The GPA is pretty much handled by instructional accountability in terms of the report cards, 7th and 8th grade report card grades. And then we handle the COGAT. When we get the assessment, we pretty much plug it into the formula.
No, I mean during the academic, during their career at the
Yes, sir.
magnet.
Matter of fact, we have spot checks. Our accountability partners go in under Laura Garcia. We do review them.
We also send out a flyer in 6th grade to let them know that they need to start preparing in 7th grade.
Yeah, I was talking about the weighting of the classes.
Oh, the weighing? Oh, the weighing of the classes, it depends on what cohort they're part of. So essentially, if they're part of the freshman class and beyond, all magnet specialty courses are weighted in reference to, let's say, an AP course or a college dual credit course.
We want to continue to look at the magnet and see how we can try to incorporate even more, the
More dual or early college type of courses for them. But expanded.
Number 4, the UCAN for Educators program update.
Yes, sir. I wanted to give you an update on what's happening with the UCAN program, United College Assistant Now for Teachers. So the first slide essentially talks about the opportunity we're providing to the students in our district, which includes the early college and now the early start pathway, as well as the HB1 program. So we're looking at the teachers, encouraging teachers to get their master's degree in the content area or 18 degrees beyond their master's degree. So that way they'll be able to be adjunct instructors with Laredo College so that they can help us save our taxpayers money in reference to tuition that we have to pay Laredo College. So this is the flyer that we send out, letting them know that the cohort 5 was available, and we're pretty much advertising the areas that are of need in reference to the courses that we offer in high school for dual credit. The next slide pretty much shows you the number of teachers that have already finished with the program. The ones in green are the content areas, and these teachers are currently teaching for the spring term or the fall term. The ones in yellow are the ones that will be done by the end of this term, May. And those are the teachers that will be helping us come the next school year in the content areas that are listed there. So as you can see, we have 8 that have already finished, 13 that are about to finish, and this is going to pretty much show in reference to saving the taxpayers money in terms of the tuition that we need to pay Laredo College. The next slide pretty much shows you the reason why we are offering this initiative, because we do need assistant teaching these courses. These are the courses that are part of the Early Start Pathway. This is our first year with the Early Start Pathway, so currently freshmen and sophomores are being exposed to these courses that are listed from top to bottom. And then next year, it'll be the courses that we currently have in place for the HB1 program. And then thereafter, you'll notice that the bulk of the courses will be offered by the time they become seniors. So you'll notice that we're giving them the opportunity to earn 33 dual credit hours in reference to this particular program. So the UCAN program will help us meet the demand in reference to the courses that the students are going to be taking. The next slide pretty much shows how much money we've saved the district. So the agreement that we have with Laredo College is $270 per student in terms of tuition if we're using their instructor. So in reference to the U.S. history, we paid about $202,230 in reference to serving 749 students. You'll notice that the next one, the $24,030, is we're using our own teachers to service 89 students. So in the English, you'll notice how much money we could have paid Laredo College, $191,430, but all 9 teachers are from our district, so we didn't really have to pay that much. So at the very bottom, we only paid Laredo College $202,230 instead of $417,690. So we actually saved our taxpayers $215,460 because we are using our own teachers. The next slide pretty much shows you how much we saved for the spring term. You'll notice that the college math tuition, we ended up paying Laredo College $82,620, for 306 students because we don't really have that many math teachers in place. But for the ones that we do have in place, we have 4 teachers that are math teachers, we save $71,820. Again, we save English, $222,480 because we have 11 of our own teachers teaching the course. So in essence, we only paid LC $82,620 instead of $3,760, $920,000, a savings of $294,300. That's for the HB1 program. And finally, the last slide pretty much shows you how much money we're saving with the Early Start pathway. With history, we ended up paying that much to Laredo College, $52,110. And the History 1301 tuition that we saved was $65,340 because we have 3 of our own history teachers. For the art, we ended up paying $22,410, 83 students, and we ended up getting a credit for $29,160 because we got a credit for 1 teacher for teaching 108 students. So in essence, the total amount at the bottom shows that we only paid Laredo College $74,520 instead of $169,020, so a savings of $94,500 with the Early Start pathway. So just wanted to give you an idea that with the UCAN program, this is what's happening in terms of dollars savings to the taxpayers for allowing our teachers to get their masters and helping them with the tuition.
We're paying the tuition, but at the same time, I think there's a commitment in a contract that they signed with us that they're going to stay in our district. I think it's
5 years.
5 years. And if they don't, then off the last paycheck, we'll deduct the amount that we paid for to get those hours in the masters.
No public comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adjourn.